everybody, welcome back to Quarantine Conversations. I'm Fred Willis, your gracious host. Today we're going to be talking about Little Fires Everywhere, and so many of you told me that I needed to watch it, and so I finally watched it. I paused at somewhere around episode 3, and then I got back into it. So shout out to Jessica Wright, who got me all the spoilers. I really appreciate that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into it, and some of y'all come on and share your thoughts as I'm going live. The first thing I want to talk about is this show. The series rather could have been called Inferno, because there was a fire everywhere Mia went. She started trouble everywhere she went. So first of all, that's that. She just ends up, I guess, in Shaker Heights when the series started. I hadn't read the book. It's adapted from a book. It's an adaptation. So there's always interesting things that happen with adaptation. So I want to share this. I couldn't bring myself to sympathize with Mia at all. Not one bit. I could not bring myself to sympathize with the decisions she's made, the things that ended her up in Shaker Heights. I couldn't. I tried, but I couldn't. Elena, now I could talk about that because, she chose a life that, she didn't really want. She ended up regretting it and kind of projected that onto her kids, making them do stuff that I don't think they really wanted to do. I know they wanted to please her, but I don't know. So I want some of y'all to come in because I know y'all have different points of view than I do, but that's okay. One of the lessons, I guess if I could draw anything from it, I would say, nobody is perfect, no matter how we try to paint that. Nobody's perfect, not even Elena. And I thought she was like a Stepford wife, but she's a journalist, and she's very, she takes her job very seriously. And so we get that comes through, obviously, with the Janet Reno thing. That's funny. Let's see. So, okay, my takeaway about Mia is that she's just a person that made bad decisions. She made a lot of bad decisions. And yeah, she's just kind of living that out. I don't know how I would say trying to live it down, because I don't think she's trying to live it down. I think she's just kind of, it's her life, and that's how she's living it after having made so many bad decisions. One decision, I think she should have went back to New York, after the funeral. Now y'all help me, because I had the TV, the volume wasn't up all the way, so I may have missed some stuff, because I finished the series. I just binged and finished the series one night. So did her parents disown her, or did they just say don't come to the funeral, and just kind of, because I didn't think they disowned her. I didn't take that to mean that. So anyway, I think she should have went back to New York, back to college. She had love there. That's a whole nother angle. She had love in New York. She had her education there. That money. Did they pay her? Did she run off with that money? I don't know. I think she was foul. By the time she got to Shaker Heights, something had triggered in her life to where she was really rigid, and even having no rental history and background and stuff like that, she was an ingrate. The way she talked to Elena, and I get, you got differing points of view, and you may feel certain ways about people, but man, I'm like, you don't talk to somebody that had helped you out, or if you feel that way, why don't you go ahead and move out? That picture, what a picture, right? Even before, hey Corey, even before I knew what the, how the picture came about, I was like, wow, that's a nice picture. And so obviously, why she didn't want to sell it. Those of you who've seen it. Yeah, man, I was just kind of hung up on that right there. I was just trying to figure all of that out. But what it did show me, it kind of showed me, the life story of people like that. The life story of people like that. Of people who make decisions like that. People that make decisions like that. Some people you just cannot help. You just have to leave them be, even when they come into your orbit. Leave them be. She saw the lady, Elena saw the lady sleeping in the car, and I guess she wanted to do something about it. Is that what happened, or was she just being one of those kind of people that call the police and is like, I don't know, because that's the problem that we have in some circles with police. Protecting and serving looks really different. Yeah, so the police officer was like, "All right, get on your way," and I don't know. I guess he asked, "Did she need some help?" But it's like, what was Elena doing? Was she being nosy? Was she one of those kind of people, y'all? Obviously she was, but I don't know, because when she saw the woman again and she realized who she was, that's when she wanted to rent to her. So I don't know. I was kind of encouraged by that, but then I was like, man, what is this all about? So I kept watching. Episode 3, I told y'all I kind of checked out because I really wasn't into it. Yeah, right. So Adrian says, Elena started it by asking her to come work for her to take care of her kids in the house by calling the house manager. So, but she was already renting to her, and I guess she was just kind of making sure that she had money. I don't know. Making sure she had money to pay the rent. I don't know if she wanted to keep tabs on her, And then, that scene where things kind of came to a head, and she was like, that's the problem with y'all. You always want to be friends with the maid or something like that. I'm like, man, that's a lot. See, the $300 a month. You know what? The thing about this series that really, let me read this second comment. It says, I don't know what her initial intentions were, but I think she did see that she needed some help. Yeah, $300 a month. So we got that. But it was so interesting to see life as a grown-up in the 90s, because I was in high school. 96 was my first year in high school. I was a freshman. So I think everything came to a head somewhere around 96, right? So it's so interesting to see that they were, in their 30s and stuff like that. It's so interesting. But I was looking at those years like in my time, and it's, so interesting. Because, as a kid, hey, what's up, Kev? You don't really take time to see, what life is like going on around you. You just see life as a kid. But it was so interesting to see what they were doing back then. The haircuts and stuff like that. That ugly box that the the football player had, that was interesting too. I had a box. Mine wasn't that big, but I had a box, man. I was rocking a box too. That was cool. So yeah, it just kind of showed me, the two lives, how they were intertwined so fast. That's okay, Adrian. I got what you were saying. Hey, Jackie. Hey, all of y'all watching. If you're watching, go ahead and comment and let me know what you think of the series, and add your thoughts. I can read them, and then we can have our conversation that way. All right. Let's see. So that was like the episodes 1 through 3. Yeah, 96. Yeah, James, I was a freshman in high school, man. I am only 37. I know I probably look older. I know I act older, but I am only 37 years old. So this series, and looking at those dates, when she said Janet Reno, I was like, Janet Reno. And I was trying to remember, her position and all that stuff. But yeah, man, it's a it's a throwback. And shout out to the author of the book. I mean, I hate to share, I guess, a take that's not common, but that, hey, it's art. And her book is now a series. I think we get a second season out of all of this. So, hey, it's cool. I don't want to disrespect the author. And it's just like Erykah Badu said, man, y'all keep in mind that I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my stuff. And, we all have that feeling. We all have that moment that, even when you put a book out and people interpret it their own kind of way, sometimes you want people to just get it, And so I don't know. Maybe I didn't get it. I'm fine with that. But yeah, so that's it. So Adrian's got another one. Here we go. I am getting there. She said, I think it just threw her after she went home and her parents thought she was pregnant and her mama asked her not to come to the funeral. And that's what messed her up. Exactly. The mama said, don't come to the funeral. They weren't disowning her. So, again, I said this is a series about a woman who makes bad decisions. And I'm going to share this picture with y'all because this is what I think of her when I think of this woman. She starts fires everywhere she goes. And some of them are little, some of them are not. Okay? So like you see at the end of the film, when what was their last name? The Richardson family, when the kids decide to start a fire. Let me tell y'all something. You start a fire in my house, I'm killing you, okay? But I know this is fiction. So, okay. I even get the concept of you want to start over. You want to just burn it all down. It's figurative, people. Don't go starting fires. You see how big that house is? We can do a lot with this house. Let's just move. Let's relocate, right? Let's get a home equity loan and do something. Go on vacation. Anything but burning it up. So, and it ends with her saying, the sheriff is asking who started the fire. And she says, I did. Come on. She may have started a fire, but she ain't start that one. I don't know. I disagree with that. I know it's drama, but that was that. And speaking of the Richardson house, I feel bad for Moody. Y'all remember Moody, the little brother? He was sweet on Mia at first, and he bonded with her on an intellectual level. And here comes Trip messing it all up. Those of you with siblings, you know how hard it is. But yeah, man, I hated that storyline. I mean, she was like head over heels for Trip, but she ain't show no love to Moody, man. That was, hey, you right on time. You ain't come in late. So I've shared though. Let me catch you up because I know you wanted to share something about that. I'm gonna get to Mia's parents, but I think Mia overreacted and when she went home. I think she overreacted. And did it cause a series of traumatic events throughout her life? It probably did. I'm not going to act like it didn't. But I think she overreacted. And about her own one and only love, that's why I said she should have went back to New York where her love was. All right? Listen, I'm on drama. This is not, I'm not in my preacher suit. I don't have time to get into that. I'm talking about the show. Her love was in New York. She didn't go back to New York. I think, for one, that she should have went back to New York. She had money. She had her tuition was paid for there. She had love there. And what else was in New York? Let me see what I said was in New York. Her money was there. Oh, her education. She could have finished college. So, but she didn't go to New York. Instead, she went on the people. How can we forget the people? Pearl's parents. Yeah, how about that? So instead of going to back there, she already had to connect with the lady at the museum, the art museum. Instead of looking at that, yes, I am, Kareen. I'm talking about it because so many of my friends are talking about it. We are seriously talking about little fires everywhere today. And so I think she should have went to New York. That's just me. I think she should have went to New York. She was going to give up the baby anyway. They paid her to get pregnant. That's the whole spiel. She was an unofficial surrogate. That's why when she ran with the baby, I guess they didn't have any recourse to send the police after. We got some more comments, y'all. One says, well, I think she wasn't meaning she literally started the actual fires, but the way she treated her family. Yeah, absolutely. I get it. And there's a comment that agrees, says it wasn't her baby. It totally was not her baby. They paid for her to get pregnant. Yeah. The whole turkey baster thing, yeah, that right there, I had to. That was a pause for the cause right there. That was quite funny. But let me tell you something. They paid her $12,000. If she was gonna keep the baby, she should have simply gave them their money back. So she kept them. This is what we're led to believe, right? How many of y'all read the book? If you read the book, tell me in the comments. So it was her baby. It was their baby that they paid her $12,000 for. That was going to keep her in college. So she basically dropped out, went and had a baby, and just kind of lived out of her brother's car. Now let me tell you something. I'm not overlooking the fact that she loved her brother. All right, I totally get that. It was her DNA, and it was her, y'all. But she had paid. They signed papers. Okay. Oh, and this is why I'm not going with this. How many of y'all know Camille Mobley? The woman in that story that stole Camille Mobley from the nursery. That woman raised her until I think she was older than Pearl in the story. I'm not sure. But that woman, see, Camille Mobley, it was so hard for her to understand what was going on, right? So the woman in jail is a person that she refers to as her mother and not her birth parent. Some of y'all watching Yonla Fix My Life, and the whole family was on there, and it was just haywire. So I get that, you know. And she did do the right thing at the end, bringing the baby to New York, bringing Pearl, right? And as I was watching, I was like, okay, now drive off. Unpack her stuff from the car and leave her with her parents, her real parents. So, but anyway, let's see. This is good. 18. Yes. So, let me do a sidebar here because this is just, I got to put this in here. Those faces, I was so tired of watching this series because I was like, this is not Mrs. Ray Charles Washington from Houston in the movie Ray. I'm like, I don't know where Kerry Washington got these faces from, but can she please send them back? Please. 18, Camille Mobley. Yes, thank you. Camille Mobley was 18 when her mother when she found out the truth about her family. These faces, y'all, Lord Jesus, give them back. I wanted to turn the TV off, but I was like, I gotta see what everybody's talking about. Those, oh my God, those faces are ugly. Even though Kerry Washington is a very beautiful woman. This reminded me though of Viola Davis, in all her scenes, those iconic scenes when she cried, when it's coming. It's, her nose starts running and she crying and the snot just be all in her. Yeah. So I was put off by the faces. And even Pearl was doing them. I was like, yo. But anyway, that's just a sidebar. I'm not gonna say I hated the series. I just didn't get out of it what I think other people got out of it. That's why I'm telling y'all to talk to me in the comments so we can have this conversation. All right, because we have different experiences. That's why it's a conversation. It's a dialogue, not a monologue. So you tell me what you got out of it, and we see where we meet in the middle. Hopefully we do. So once she got to Shaker Heights, she started fires in the Richardson house. You can see my lighter right here. And then she started fires at work. Man, with BB, she made BB go crazy. And BB was talking about, no, Adrian, at the end, at the last scene of the movie, they're in New York. And Pearl is knocking on the door. And after Mia reads the poem that Pearl wrote, she gets out the car and she's like kind of pacing back and forth. I think she should have walked up, but she probably thinking, I'm going to jail if I walk up. That's why I said she just unpack the car and go about her merry way. Okay. And it's funny too. This is in the 90s, the 80s and 90s, that people's phone numbers are the same. Can you imagine trying to call somebody whose number you got 20 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Man, no. You call that number and you get you have reached the number that is disconnected or no longer in service. So when she called the Williams, was that their name? So when she called the house, it was so odd to me that she still had the number. But hey, that's that. I mean, it was enjoyable. Okay, it was Mia's parents' house. Oh, was it? I thought that was the Williams house. Oh, okay. Whoa, that makes a lot more sense. Mia's parents. Oh, okay. Maybe I shouldn't have been watching it at 3:00 in the morning. I don't know. Okay, so get me together. They went to, but it looked like a different house. Did they moved or something? I don't know. Because didn't her parents' house have that tree in the front? I didn't see a tree. See, now I got to rewrite my whole review. No, I don't. Okay, so let's talk about the money. Did she take the money from the Williams? Did she take the money from the people she was having a baby for? I don't know. I think that's what I'm saying. If she took the money, then she definitely needed to go back to New York. And BB, I was talking about BB. So BB's story was heart wrenching, right? And in the 90s is when they developed the safe houses where you can drop. No, I didn't see Carrie in American Son, and I told y'all I wasn't watching because of those faces. They said I couldn't make it past the faces, y'all. Okay, forgive me. I'll go watch it just for you, Casey. I'll go watch it just for you. All right. So here we go. BB, y'all. Okay, so the story was heart wrenching. In the 90s, they developed this the safe house where you can drop a baby off without penalty. The baby is immediately given up for adoption. Parental rights are severed. Okay, so she tries to keep the baby. She told him she would pay him back. Okay, well, we need record of her sending money back to New York to the Williamses. Okay. All right, because when she called and the woman picked up. So why was she calling? Okay, season 2, we'll get all that right. All right, so anyway, BB dropped the baby off because she couldn't afford formula, $1.70. Can you imagine? Well, some of y'all can imagine because you did have babies back then, paying $1.70 for formula. Wow. Formula now is what? $15? Receipts. Yes, that's we need receipts, KC. Formula now is like $15. So she didn't have hey DeMarlo, how you doing, man? We just talking about little fires everywhere, man. We having a pretty good conversation. So she couldn't afford the formula and the lady kept it back and I felt so bad. I felt so sorry. I'm like, well, why didn't you, help the woman out? She got a baby, right? And so she gave the baby up. KC, when Pearl was a baby, she called him. Okay. So the baby was gone. And so Carrie comes back, and this is what I'm talking about right here. She just shows up and starts fires. This woman is not your friend. This is how I feel. This woman is not your friend. When you see her, when you see that bob, that was a dope bob though, y'all. I love it. When you see that woman coming, run, because she about to mess up stuff. And so, I mean, they played it. I saw it. I felt so sorry for her, and being an immigrant, I guess she didn't know, the resources that are available even at that time of night. So I'm not knocking her for that at all, but the adoption wasn't finalized. No, it was not. But I don't know. That's just so. All parents have rights until severed. Okay, I get you. Yeah, but they're severed when you drop the baby off, right? Somebody research that while I'm talking. Help us, because I want all of us to have an understanding in here while we're talking. If you drop a baby off, I believe the rights are severed when you do that. Help me out, Casey. Those of you watching, those rights are severed. Meaning you can't come back. Even if you watch the child every day. We getting there about Izzy. Lord Jesus. Okay. So, and Rachel, you are right about just showing up, which is the reason I'm telling y'all, I'm just going to let y'all look at this mad scientist right here. Starting fires, man. The story was compelling. She put the pieces together. I mean, it literally just fell into her lap, And I hate to say it, that it wasn't a storybook ending. I wish that it was a storybook ending with BB and her baby, but it wasn't. Fiction didn't even do that. So in the end, BB took the baby. Oh Lord, I was like, see, now this is what happened when you let this person into your life. Now you on fire because they coming after you. They know who you are. They know who took the baby. So that was sad. That was very sad. 90s kids. Let's talk about this. Pacey is a dad. Pacey is a dad. You Dawson's Creek watches like I was. It came on Wednesday nights or something like that. So I used to watch Dawson's Creek. I used to because I went to school with kids who were literally living the Dawson's Creek life. So it was so funny to see on TV what I was seeing in school. All the stories, all that stuff. So yeah, Pacey's a dad. Reese Witherspoon is like a super mom, right, with 4 kids. So that was just interesting to see. Here we go. Reese Witherspoon is brilliant in this movie, this series. I hate her as much as I love her. Can you believe that? I know some of y'all probably do too. I hate her as much as I love her character. On some levels, though, I totally get her. If you go back to the scene in Paris where the boyfriend is like, Rachel, we getting there. when he was like, let's just stay. And I'll just share this with you. I shared this in another one of my quarantine conversations talking about where I am in life now. He was like, let's just stay here. Let's just stay. And she was like, no, I got to go home because my mom set this job up for me, blah, blah, blah. He was like, we got to live the dream. What about living the dream? She's like, yo, we can live it at home. Let's go. Well, because she didn't stay, I think she regretted her life a little bit. As much as she loved her life, she regretted it. And that just gives you some insight into the mind of an artist and in the mind of a creative, because you never lose that drive. You never lose that desire to want to do, on a great level, on the greatest level, what you desire to do. It never goes away. Regardless of what you do, no matter how you try to fight it, it never goes away. And I think she was still in love with the boyfriend. And if it wasn't that she was in love with the boyfriend, she was in love with all of that. And she just left it. And she wanted it back almost enough to have that affair when she had Izzy. And Joy was like that too. Joy was, oh my gosh, she cried so much. It was just like, argh! What I did to solve it, I just put it on the track. I just held it up to the microphone and I was like, let them have it. And so she did. Cried on cue too. That song is called Super Baby, by the way, because she was born on Super Bowl night. So that's what I did. I didn't have to go out for pacifiers of any kind. But yeah, I think she regretted that. That's the way I say I can relate. It just doesn't go away. That's why you have to be, that's why you have to follow your dreams. All right. If I had my preacher hat on, if I had my preacher jacket on, I would tell you got to follow the plan the Lord has for you. All right. Because it may not have been going the safe route and working with a mom and all that stuff. All right. There is no plan for a season 2. Rachel said it. That's it. That's all we get. I blame this woman right here. I blame her. It's all her fault. No season 2. Listen, let me read some of these comments. Rachel says she was so regretful of her life and tried so hard to make her home life look perfect. She was miserable and made her family miserable, especially Lizzie. Y'all keep talking about Lizzie, so let's go ahead and talk about Lizzie. Courtney, you read the book. Okay, it followed the book to a T. Wow. Okay. How many others of you have read the book? I didn't know anything about the book. I think I was into probably the second episode before I knew it was a book. So here we go. Yeah, Carrie, listen. Carrie, after this, Carrie Washington is going to have to write me a letter earning my grace back. No, I'm kidding. She don't know me. Izzy. So at the end, when she says, you need professional help, I was like, yes. Now, I didn't think she was going to burn the house down, but I think as parents, I got to step back now. As a parent, you gotta give your kids space to be who they are. And also, you have to grow into a level of parenting, of love, of, just watching out. That's part of being a parent, to see changes in behavior. It's not just part of growing up. Something obviously happened and she felt like she couldn't tell them. But at the same time, as parents, I think you have to make space for that. They had all the resources in the world. Well, I guess the daddy knew, but he didn't want to tell the mama. Yes, Carrie was the victim who became the villain. Okay, Casey, you are right on par with that. That's when it's close to benediction time, when you start getting there. And so we are really kind of close to benediction time. Those of you who are churching understand what that means. But she just needed, I guess, an outlet, and they began to play out what happened and the behaviors at school, it's like, yo, man, help me understand what's going on. Help me understand. Help me parent you. Tell me what's going on. How can I help? How can I help you through this phase? But as a parent, you're not going to fire me as a parent, and I think she tried to tell him the best way she could, which I think obviously was coming up short. And most of us on here, a lot of us on here are parents, and it's just, you have that to deal with, and even not as, maybe it's not parents, maybe you're part of the village. You see your nephew, your niece, something's going on. Like, hey man, let's talk about it. But you have to stop long enough to do that. You have to create the space for them to talk about it. And I felt sorry for her because the way they did her, I mean, golly. And especially, and let me tell you something, this happens all the time in teen and tween relationships. It's all cool until somebody finds out, until they see you looking at them. It's not just in that dynamic, it's any dynamic, any relationship, even if you are somebody who would not be into Star Trek and your friends are not, and they see you reading Star Trek and they're like, what you doing with that book? And you're like, man, I don't want to read that, but it's your favorite book, and let's say somebody takes it. So now your world is upside down because you lost your favorite book, but they built that up. Woo! And I love her because she's an artist too. So artist brain. But it's really crazy how the person who got her was the villain. So that further villainized her. So let's read what Rachel says. She says, when Bill took that trash bag upstairs and dumped her stuff out, and he says to put your head down and just get through it. Oh man. And Izzy asked, is that what you're doing? Sleeping on the couch and just going, yeah, she was a tough little cookie, wasn't she? She was serious. So Casey says she raised 3 girls, all 2 years apart, all totally different personalities. Drove you crazy. Yeah, I can imagine. Now, when she said, I don't want you, when she said, it's hard being your mama, I was like, yeah, that right there, I was like. And so on one hand, I got the frustration because as a parent, you want your kid, you want them to make it easy on you. But you also want to get them, you want them to get that you're trying to get them. And it is hard, especially if you didn't grow up around, their other parent. So you don't know that teenage personality, you may marry somebody who's like a whatever. And in their teenage years, they were a goth or something just way an outlier in the school, whatever. And you don't know, you missed that phase and it shows up in one of your kids. Not that the goth phase is wrong, the music, the clothes, the whatever, the expression. And so you're like, where'd that come from? I don't know how to parent that, but it's part of your kids. You gotta do that. She said it's hard being your mama. And I was like, Izzy, you earned that one because you ain't making it easy. All right. She said it didn't matter because as we learned, Elena was so hateful towards her. She was. She cut her out the family photo. She told her she was hard to love and she was always on her. But let me tell y'all something. When I looked at the picture and she was doing the middle finger, I was like, it was so funny, but you think about a family like that. You're like, come on, man. The dude rushed the pictures and all that stuff. Okay. The adage about girls and their mothers, I don't know. So rebellious. Y'all got to tell me. What is the adage about girls and their mothers? Come on, tell me before we end the conversation. Tandra is here. Hey, Tandra. Karen is in. Rachel's hanging out with us. Adrian. Let's see. Who else? There's a few of y'all in here. If you're here, check in and let me know you're here. All right. Page 2. So Elena is a creative who chose the cage instead of flying away. Did y'all see the last scene? The very last scene where, who is it, Carrie talking? Mia. And she did the paper mache. Is that what it's called? And she had the cage in the center with the cardinal feather. Did y'all catch that? Tip of the cap to Izzy right there. And that cardinal feather in the cage. So she caged. Hey, Pastor Pope. Dr. Pope is in here. If you haven't watched it, you can watch. There's a lot of good material in there. So as a creative, it was easy to see the dichotomy of her life, Elena's life. She was trying to bring her dream world into the real world, and it's gonna fail every time. So tell me now, the flower town with the feather, exactly. What was so important about wearing the kids? The mama just picked the outfits for everybody. What they call that pattern? Whatever. I like it. I have a tie in that pattern. So the kids is just part of the outfit. So Tell me, how many of you guys identify with Mia? How and why? Mia, whether it's the villainous Mia or whether it's young Mia, you know. And I think while we're talking about young Mia, I think they just should have had a conversation. Maybe the day and time to have the conversation wasn't on the funeral. I think they should have let her come. You know, that's just, I think, you know, the tartan. Yes, tartan. Tartan or tartan. Okay? They should have let Mia come to the funeral. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Okay? But, you know, religious people like that, religious people who are bound by religiosity, you know, you got to cover your kids, man, because you see what happens. She just way out there on her own doing all this crazy stuff, starting fires everywhere she goes. So how many of y'all identify with this fire starter here? How and why? Put that in the comments. And I want to say this. I'm going to give her a little break here. We all know people who are marked by trauma. That's not new. And those people, you really can't help them. It was a car accident, wasn't it? I think she said it was a car accident, how Mia's brother passed away. KC, tell me if I'm right. The hurt, overprotection, and control. There's the other part of it. I think I'm going to get to that a little later. But isn't it interesting how what she was kind of trying to rescue the Richardson kids from is what she was projecting onto Pearl? Think about it. Pearl wanted much more out of her life experience. She wanted schooling and she wanted to do all that kind of stuff, but she couldn't do it because her mama didn't really want her to get out there. Her mama didn't want to let her get out there. They were leaving all the time. She couldn't do anything. She couldn't put any roots down anywhere. So Mia was controlling too, and Pearl started to finally, reject that toward the end. So as I said earlier, nobody's perfect, no matter how we try to paint that picture. The fire was a symbol of releasing the rage. Totally get it. That's why this alchemist right here took us through such a journey. This alchemist, yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it. I can see both sides. Rachel says, I can understand the single mom working any job possible to provide a stable-ish home for her daughter. But the deceit and manipulation she did to do it, she went too far every time. KC says, true, most of the time we don't see what's going on in front of us. Both mothers were a hot mess. You right, Karen? Pearl wanted better for herself, and Mia made her feel guilty for wanting to achieve what the rich white people had. Well, all right then. It wasn't Elena's place to tell Pearl. That's what Karen said. You're right. But both of them, you know, they were going tit for tat. So, you know, Elena figured out how to hurt Pearl, how to hurt Mia, the same way Mia was hurting Elena through her kids. But in the end, Pearl realized why her mom did. Did she though? Maybe Pearl did. I still don't get it. And that's why we having this conversation, because I just still don't get it. Okay, so we know people like this marked by trauma. But what trauma was Mia marked with? Really, was it really the trauma of her brother dying? Was that the trauma that she was marked with, or was it just life situations? You know, like she told Pearl, you know, even about how she viewed sex. Like, yeah, whatever. You know, I think all she had to do was just go back to New York. I think it was really that simple. Tell me if I'm wrong. If you disagree, that's fine. All she had to do was go back to New York. We know people like that. She had money, love, and education. I said that. Now, let me tell you. Okay, I got one more. And the bathroom scene when Elena told Mia she knew about Pearl, I just knew Mia. Yeah, I know, right? I thought it was going down. It was a few scenes in this series. I was like, fight, you know. I'm a 90s kid, so I was like, Jerry. Jerry. The brightest spot in the film. See, she wasn't physically abusive. I love these comments. Yes. So Mia wasn't physically abusive, but was she emotionally abusive? Pearl stayed with her mom. Mia wasn't abusive to Pearl, Karen says. Adrian says, I think it was the trauma of her brother dying and not being able to go to the funeral. Okay, I get it. I'm making room for all of that. Okay, push pause. The brightest spot in the whole series for me was drum roll, and I was supposed to add this slide, was the Marvin Gaye song. Everybody wants Clay. Everybody wants some. Let me find this song real quick. Everybody wants somebody to be Clay. Now, in that song, let me show you what he's saying. As they travel from wherever Mia is from to LA, where she gives birth at LA USC Hospital. She says, or rather, this song is playing in that scene. Piece of Clay is the name of the song by Marvin Gaye. Everybody wants somebody to be a piece of clay. Everybody, let's see, we want our own clay to master. I'm going to get this right. Let me see where I have it. Oh, here it is. Everybody wants somebody to be their own piece of clay. I think I said that like 5 times now, right? Everybody wants somebody to be their own piece of clay. I can hear the song in my head now. KC says, Tamika, hey, Mia was holding in too much. I hear you. Oh, thank you, Pastor Jackson. I'm having a lot of fun today. KC says, I think Mia gave Pearl what Elena's couldn't give her kids. Absolutely. Bingo. That's the comment of the hour. All right. Mia was giving, they were symbiotic. What a word. I'm going to send this to them. Did you mean this when you wrote the book? It was symbiotic. And so, good and evil, all of that. They all eventually kind of work together on some level to some end. Everybody wants somebody to be their own piece of clay. This is what I'm saying. What Mia rejected about Elena is what Elena rejected about Mia. The kids were the same way. Izzy rejected it in Elena, but embraced the same parent and behaviors in Mia. Am I getting that right? But the truth of the matter is we're all human. Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder recorded the song Ebony and Ivory, and the first verse of the song says, we all know people are the same. Everywhere that you go, there's good and bad. They all eventually kind of work together. So I guess the series ain't as bad as I said it was, but it's I just have a different, take on it. So, Elena's mama had a plan for her. Go back to college. She was coming home. She was coming home from college, and she had a plan for her. Come home. You can work for me. Then I watched all the commentaries. I did not. I just kind of been giving my own Karen because I've kind of been walking through each episode. Mia's parents is on her. They affected the rest of their lives. I should have probably read this at the beginning, which they projected onto their own children. Most of us do that as parents anyway. So as parents, it's not that often that we ask our kids what they want to do with their lives. It's not that often that we ask them or that we allow them to choose their own path. It's just really not. Rachel asked a question. Do I think Bill should have stepped up and helped Izzy and realized the damage Elena was causing? Passive aggressive. Yes. Bill, I don't know. They should have gave us a little more on Bill because Bill was that way for a reason, I think. And you know what? I also have to say that may have been the dynamic of their relationship. Maybe, Pacey, Joshua Jackson is his name. Maybe he was a better fit for her as a husband because she was like the one pulling all the strings and we're going to do this and blah, 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 and she wasn't exactly a Stepford wife because she had a job. And you remember when she told her mama she was pregnant with Izzy, she was like, okay, the jig is up. You just need to be, what did she say? Something about being a woman. You need to be a woman and let him be a man. Something, that was heavy. Okay. Yeah. Elena, this is my last thought and I'm going to end this. Elena saw Mia and thought, here we go. Let me read this. Elena had an idea of what and who she wanted her kids to be. And because Mia kept Pearl, she didn't let her blossom fully. She couldn't because they would be going from place to place. I think what the women saw in each other may have been reflections, deep reflections of themselves, something like that. Maybe who they wanted to be, maybe who they wish they were themselves, maybe sometimes even what they wish they had become. I think I'm trying to say all of that right. Sometimes you hate people because they're doing what you want to do. You don't really hate them. You just hate that they're doing what you wish you could do. Elena, I told you, is a creative, is an artist. Let me see. Elena was trying to live through her oldest daughter, having her go to the best college. Yes, looking perfect, projecting what Elena wanted to be, but didn't achieve. Now, I didn't even touch the kids. Well, I did. But, I mean, as a dynamic, as a group, listen, man, that group is jacked up. And listen, I told y'all, I went to school with these kinds of, people. Well, Dawson's Creek, but it's a little more here. I went to like school, high school, college. So yeah, it's so interesting to see, to peep into those houses and see how things really go on. Yeah, it's crazy, right? So, the homecoming king and queen, it's no big deal, right? But sis was working through her own issues, now when she stole the essay, I'm like, bro, we done. But, they not. He stayed with her. He kept giving her chances and chances, but he never forgot that. And I got to say this. Let me read this comment. Vicarious living. Marcus, you are exactly right. That's why, as best you can, don't start a family. Don't get married. Don't start having kids until you get it out of your system. Because I'm telling you, it never leaves. Artists on here, creatives on here, you can attest. It never leaves. It never leaves. Rachel says it's what I love. It looks like one thing on the inside is nothing like it. Exactly. So you take a peer into these lives and you see we all the same. This is why I don't get racism. When I went to college in Weatherford, Texas, my lamb. Shout out to Dub C. Let me see if I remember the sign. It looked like a gang sign, but we had a hand sign. I won't throw it up. I don't want y'all to get confused in this moment. But I went to Weatherford and I learned so much about people. Not that going to Pascal here in Fort Worth didn't teach me, but I just got to see some stuff that I was like, man, I don't get racism. We are all the same. I don't care. I don't care what, what your skin color is, what your experience is. We are all the same. Sit down and talk about it. After about an hour, if it takes that long, that's right, Rachel. Dub C. After a while, you say, you know what, me too. That's a good way to use me too. Sit down and talk to somebody. Marcus says, make sure you teach the correct morals needed for a foundation. That's good if you do start a family before you don't, And some of us are destined to do stuff, right? And our families don't have to do it, absent of a family. I talked about it in another one of these quarantine conversations. The Apostle Paul says, I wish that y'all would like me single. And I was like, he wasn't talking to me. So for those of us who do have families and are creatives, stuff like this, we have to work to create a different level of balance. It's so different. Not everybody does it. We don't do it right. I'll just raise my hand for, I'm not calling anybody out. I don't have to. We don't always do it. I haven't always done it right, but you got to work for it. But so we all the same. We are all the same. Mandisa wrote she sang a song that says we all bleed the same. Well, it don't even have to come down to bleeding. If you spend time to meet people, Casey says it's prejudice, preconceived notions that are not true. Exactly. Yeah, we don't talk about prejudice much. We should, because prejudice is not a skin color thing. Racism is more skin color. But you can be prejudiced. Just this is what I prefer. And then she says preconceived notions that are not true. When you can think of something and it's just not true, right? You think this is going to be a way, it ain't that way. So yeah, that too. But we just sit down and talk, sit down and discover. What if? And this is life. What if Elena and Mia discovered that they were better friends than enemies? Better friends than enemies. And we didn't touch on everything. And thank y'all who have hung out with me today talking about this wonderful show. I guess it is wonderful. It's giving us so much to talk about, but you know, we are all the same, man. And so some of us are fire starters. Some of us are okay with the fires. And some of us are just engulfed in flames. To set yourself on fire, that word is called, they call that self-immolation, when you set yourself on fire. And we know some people like that. They just nothing about them is normal. Everything is fire. And sometimes it's worth it to get to know them. Sometimes it ain't. You know, sometimes you just got to leave them. Casey says Mia was Elena's token friend. I didn't even think that much into it. See, I went to Pascal. My school was predominantly whitish. And it's so funny because the older I got, I was out of high school before I heard this. The kids at Arlington Heights called the white kids at Pascal ghetto. But the kids at Pascal, their parents were like, you know, elite. Okay. The money at Pascal was different from the money at Arlington Heights. And the Arlington Heights money was the big houses half a mile off the road. Pascal money was the doctors, the lawyers, the politicians. Their names are on buildings everywhere. Karen says deal breaker, walk away. That's right. And so I saw this firsthand, and I don't get mad about it. I love the perspective it gave me. I survived. Whew. But man, it was so much. Let's see. Let me go up and read some of these comments. Let's see. Rachel says, I have to say, though, I appreciated the views about white privilege. I mean, whew, I really had to pick my jaw up. Yeah, they got deep into that stuff. The Cabbage Patch Kids at the school. Yeah, man. But see, again, listen, I'll just say this. If you're going to act out, just give us full disclosure. Let us know, you know, what you mean. Give us what we supposed to get from that. I didn't like that scene. I think the scene was a little underdeveloped for me. Because I think you got to think too much to get it. You know, I know she was talking about the McCullough case, but still, it's like, yo, what, you know, come on, man, give the people some meat. I'm saying out of the series. I know the character probably won't. She's 13. KC says, remember the kitchen scene? She wanted to be a friend, so Mia said, no, I work for you. Yes, exactly. So we said that earlier on. You know, she said, that's a problem with y'all. Y'all always want to be friends with the maid. Or was it the help? You all want to be friends with the help? I wish I could ask somebody why that is. I got some friends I could ask. I don't think they'll like me asking that. But yeah, and I can tell you this. I've worked jobs like that. I can tell you one particular job where I was getting paid real good, but I could tell that they kind of wanted a yes sir boss. Yes sir. And I was like, no, I ain't ever been that. You know, maybe y'all, I don't know. Like, how did I end up in this position? And we had problems. I mean, like, we had HR problems, EEOC problems. Okay. The help. I ain't the help. I'm going to help myself out of here. And just some of the stuff they were asking me to do, like, I was like, is that because I'm the, is that because I work in this position, or y'all making stuff up as we go? Because I asked in the interview, is this a gopher position? You know, you a gopher, you do whatever. But then I was like, don't y'all hire people to do this? And so it's crazy. It's crazy. So yeah, you can't be my friend. I ain't a yes man either, Karen. I know that's right. I am not a yes man. We have serious problems when you try to make me a yes man. God didn't make me a yes man. All right. Look, and this is how I identify with this one. I am a fire starter in the right situations. Okay. I will burn all that stuff down. I mess it all up. You know, you be careful about that. You know what I'm saying it jokingly, but I mean it. I'm too outspoken too. KC says at 47, I have real white friendships that I'm the only black person in the group, different lifestyles. Gotcha. Let's see. Rachel Ray says, I can't believe when the mom who adopted Maylene, when she and her husband were laying in the bed, she heard a noise. Why didn't she listen to her gut and check on the baby? You knew BB had already been in your house before. I was like, get up. I was too. And I'm glad it's fiction. Because, we getting up and we getting the strap. Right? Yeah, we getting up. We got to see what's going on, and we tried to do the baby monitoring thing. No, we just put the bed, the bassinet in the room. Because what you want? Check the time. Okay, it ain't feeding time. So, no, we don't put the baby in the other room and get a monitor. No, if you that little, I need my eyes on you at all times. Because we don't have no problems. We don't want to have any problems in the middle of the night. Because I'm coming. You know what I'm saying? If I don't have a gun, I'm grabbing a knife. As much cooking as I do, I got plenty knives that will penetrate the skin. You ain't coming in here taking my kid, not without a fight. All right. Rachel, man. Say, we getting up and we going to find out what's going on. You know what I'm saying? So, that's it. And so as parents, in the room, Adrian, that's what I'm talking about. That baby is in here with us. Rachel, listen, we coming, we checking on the kid. This to me is another thing as parents that I think it's something that I can look at and take notes from and learn lessons from. Casey asks who watches A Million Little Lies. Lord have mercy, she trying to get me watching another series. I don't. I may check it out. What else am I going to... Listen, I'm going to have to come back with my reality shows because the shows that I watch are interesting. The shows I watch are people making bad decisions. That's probably why I end up liking this show so much. 90 Day Fiance. Married at First Sight. What's another? It's another one. I watch those shows and I'm just like rooting for them to use common sense, and none of them do eventually. So I don't know. Maybe that's why I like this show. This series so much. Don't fall for it today. Janique, listen, I watch too much TV. If I had a series, that would be the name of my series. I watch too much TV. Y'all come watch it with me. So this show, this is it. They said no second season. So I guess we just gonna have to stew on this for a while. Adrian watches it. KC, Rachel, a million little lies, a million little things. Which one is it? It's a lot of series out here. Somebody told me I need to go back and watch American Son, so I'm gonna do that. I think that's just a movie or something, right? That was another interracial situation in that one too. Okay. Well, let me see. I think we're about ready to end it here. But yeah, so you've been watching Quarantine Conversations. I am Fred Willis, your racist host. We will be back with many more shows and conversations. So thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I'll be back with more. Keep it locked right here to my channel, to my page, Quarantine Conversations. Until next time.